The next screen is plant specific material status, which is similar to the cross plant material status in the basic data one view. It is used to specify the restrictions for this material in this plant, only in this specific plant. Okay. So again, the same options, and you also have to specify the valid from date. Another interesting field is this qualification for free goods distribution. This field will be required to be maintained in case the material is being received free of cost or will be sold free of cost. So without specifying that eligibility, the system will not allow the material to be either received free of cost or sold free of cost. Okay. So another field is this GR processing time. GR means goods receipt. So this field will be used to maintain the time taken for inspection. So if the material has to be checked before it has to be used, the quality check has to be completed before it can be used, then based on the amount of time required for that quality check, if it takes even one day, then I have to wait for one day before I can start issuing it. Right? So that will add to your time to issue. Okay. Post-inspection stock, if it is checked, it indicates that whenever stock of this material is received in this plant, the entire stock has to be checked for quality. Okay. Only when it clears the quality can it be moved to usable data. And if you want to maintain the part number for this material, you can use this field for specifying the manufacturer part number and specify who is the manufacturer. And if you want to link the part number to further activities of the material, like any quality process or for creating a purchase order, then you can use this manufacturer part profile field to make those activities dependent on the manufacturer part number. Make the manufacturer part number a mandatory requirement for carrying out any of these activities. Okay. This will be required only when the client process requires it. Another interesting field is this purchasing value key, which is used to maintain values for multiple delivery and purchase related elements. For example, whenever we send a purchase order to the vendor, we usually specify a date by which the material has to be delivered. Now, what if the vendor does not deliver on that date? Do you send any reminders to that vendor? And if you're going to send the reminder, when are you going to send it? So when do we send the first reminder, second reminder, third reminder? It is not necessary that you have to send all the three reminders, but in case you send at least one reminder, when are you going to send it? Is it before the delivery date or after the delivery date? And if you're sending a reminder, should the vendor acknowledge the receipt of that communication? Okay, that can also be specified in the purchasing value key. The delivery tolerances, that is the quantity variance acceptable when you are receiving this material in this plant, when you are receiving this material anywhere, will also be specified in the purchasing value key. If the tolerance is not there, that is the quantity ordered should be exactly delivered, then the tolerances will be 0. So 0 tolerance indicates the quantity has to be delivered exactly in the same quantity. Shipping instruction identifies the specific instruction to be followed by the vendor when they are delivering the material. Now the users will not be able to enter the values for any of these elements. They can only select the relevant combination of these elements. So the end user selects something like this, and that means the first reminder will be sent 3 days after the delivery date. Second reminder will be sent 8 days. Third reminder will be sent 15 days. What will be the content of that communication? How it will be sent will be designed in the program by the programmer, and the setup of sending it will be done by the base system. And shipping instruction is V1. There is a 10% under delivery tolerance and an over delivery tolerance of 10%. That is plus or minus 10% is acceptable for this material. and the vendor should acknowledge the receipt of all the communications sent to the vendor relating to this material, the purchase or delivery. So like this, based on the material, the relevant combination will be selected by the users, and based on those values, the relevant activities will be carried out. Pressing enter will take you to the next view, which is plan data storage 1. This view is used to maintain the data required for storing this material anywhere along with this particular storage location in this plant. Again, base unit of measure is automatically copied. Unit of issue specifies the unit of measurement in which the material is issued. Again, it has to be maintained only if it is different from the base unit of measure. Okay. And if you maintain the unit of issue different from the base unit, system will ask you for the conversion factor. So if I specify a bushel, and the system will ask me, okay, it's a little bit strange. Okay, so there have been some changes here. Again, it will ask me for the conversion factor. So if required, you can also maintain storage bin. If this material is stored at a specific location in the storage location, at a specific place in the storage location, the place, if it has a code to be identified, will be called as a storage bin, which can be maintained. If this material has to be maintained at a specific temperature or meets some specific storage conditions, then these two fields can be used to maintain it. These conditions will be specific or common to everywhere the material is stored. So in case it has to be kept in containers, or it should be always in a packed condition, or it requires a refrigerated, it needs to be refrigerated always. So like this, you can specify any specific storage condition. Similarly, if the material has to be maintained at a specific temperature point, you can use the temperature conditions to maintain it, right? So let's say I maintain some values here, which will be common to this material. If the material is a dangerous good, then the relevant hazardous material number or the hazardous chemical number should be maintained in this field. Other interesting fields are this shelf life data subscreen, where you need to maintain the data relevant for calculating the expiry date of this material in case it is a expiry related item. So from the time this material is manufactured or combined, what is the maximum storage period? And from the time this material is received in this storage location and plant, anytime, what is the minimum remaining shelf life? And the time unit in which this shelf life is calculated will be specified in this field. Okay. So maintaining the values here will automatically calculate the expiry time whenever this material is received in the storage location of this plant, ensuring that the expiry date will be clearly identified. Pressing enter will take you to the next view, which is plant data storage 2. Here the weight, volume, size and dimensions will be automatically copied from the basic data view. The basic data view, the weight, volume and dimensions will be common to everywhere. But in case the weight, volume, or size and dimensions are different for this plant and storage location, then that value can be changed here. If you change the values here, it will not affect the basic data view. And after changing in the future, if you change the values in the basic data view, the values in this view are not going to be affected since they are now delinked. They are different. These values are specific for this plant and this storage location. Okay. Pressing enter will take you to the last view, which is accounting 1. Accounting 1 is where you're going to maintain the valuation related information for maintaining the stock of this material in this plant. And these values are specific to each plant. The valuation of any material can be normally calculated in two ways in the price control field. So we have standard price or moving average price. Standard price will be selected when the value of this material is not dependent on either the total stock maintained or any external factors. Moving average price will be maintained when the stock valuation has to be recalculated every time there is a stock transaction or a change in any of the external factors. So when you select standard price, the price will be maintained in the standard price field. If you select moving average, the price will be maintained in the moving price field. For your practice, select the price control as standard and enter some value in the standard price field. Now this price, is it per one base unit or two base units or one and a half base unit? The per unit, how many units will be specified here, which will be always calculated in terms of the base unit. Okay. Once you specify the price and you maintain stock of this material in this plant, the total stock will be displayed here, and as per the price, the total value of the stock will be maintained here, which needs to be again updated in a GL account. So that GL account will be taken from this valuation class. The valuation class is a link between the valuation price and the material and the GL account in which the valuation price is maintained. So for your practice, usually you get other valuation classes, which are 3000, 3001. However, in this system, it looks like you only have one valuation class. So just leave it as it is and click on Save to create this material in this plant with the data that you have maintained. And once you save it, the material with the information that you have created can be used for immediate, uh, sorry, can be used immediately for any process.